folks, Rick from Riversmith. Spring is here and I want to walk you through a few tips and tricks to get your River Quiver and SwiftCast rod holders ready for an excellent spring and summer of fishing. First things first with your River Quiver is you want to be sure the roof racks that they attach to are properly secured and all fasteners are tightened. Make sure that they're nice and snugged, everything's nice and tight, and if you do have any issues, see the roof racks manufacturer for tips and tricks to get them back into shape. Next, we want to make sure that the River Quiver is properly secured to the roof racks. We're going to talk about all four types of River Quiver mounts. First, we're going to talk about what you see here, the low profile T-track mount. The T-track mount mounts down into the T-rail of the bar and tightens down with a 4mm Allen key. So make sure all four mounting bolts are nice and tight and secure, snug down, and there's no wobble in your River Quiver once tightened. If you have our quick release mount, you want to make sure that the quick release is properly tightened down and attached to the bar, that the key core is locked so there's no chance that the latch can open. You want to be sure that the strap that attaches it to the bar is nice and tight but not overly tightened, just by ratcheting down with the 4mm Allen. And a really important step is you want to make sure the pivot bolt that allows the mount to pivot to open and close is tightened via this center 4mm Allen. If you have our standard mounting bracket on the River Quiver, you do want to inspect the hardware, make sure there's no corrosion or any issues with the bolts that tighten the two halves together, and give those bolts a nice snug up. Make sure they're real nice and tight without being overly tightened, and that your standard mounting brackets are snug to your rack and there's no play or wobble. If you have a shortcut with the truck bed mount solution, you want to be sure that the truck bed mounts themselves are nice and snug, starting with the 10mm nut that mounts the quiver to the bracket, and then coming inside the bed and tightening either the T-studs or the self-tapping screws that attach the bracket directly to the bed. Moving on to the River Quiver reel box, we want to make sure first that the reel box is properly secured. We want to ensure that the latch is tight and has minimal play inside the quiver itself. We want to inspect that the reel box pads that protect your reels are all in shape, there's no damage, that the hinge is working and functional and has the nice stop that'll keep this annoying Colorado spring wind from smashing into your rods. We want to check the lock and make sure all is as it should be. It's nice and tight and there's no wiggles. And we want to make sure that our reel box closes smoothly and fully latches. A really important thing to note on the reel box lock and your quick release mount lock is there are quite a few different key codes, tons and tons of them, and it's very difficult for us to help you find a replacement key if you lose it if you don't have your key code noted. So on the River Quiver key itself or on the quick release mount key, the key code is stamped. Do us a favor, do yourself a favor, and write that down somewhere safe, so if you do misplace your keys, we can replace those for you easily. The last and often overlooked step is making sure that your River Quiver is clean. Inside the quiver itself, the liners over time can pick up road grime and road dust, and it can electrostatically cling on the inside. So if you reach in there and you get back some grime like I have in my finger, it's time to clean out the River Quiver. And it's really easy to do at a self-service car wash or just in the front of your house with a garden hose. If you just spray water down there, maybe add just a little bit of mild soap to wash out, fully rinse it and let it dry, it'll clean out all that road grime and you won't have any abrasion issues on your really valuable rods. Another great tip is to utilize our rod chairs like you see here on this rod that can join the two sections of a rod together. If it's folded in half, it'll suspend the rod inside the River Quiver tube and keep it from rattling around on really rough roads. It adds an extra layer of protection and a great place to attach multi-fly rigs so you don't have a bird's nest when you pull everything out of your quiver. When it's time to get your boat ready for those spring and early summer floats and you have the Swiftcast rod holders, you want to go through and check and make sure that all hardware is nice and snug. So all of the T-studs that attach the reel box to the extrusions, the two sets of extrusions together via the coupler, and the nose cone, go through each set and make sure all of these T-stud hardware pieces are nice and snug. You also want to make sure that the Swiftcast is securely attached to your frame. So with that same 4mm Allen, you'll just make sure to snug up all of the universal mounts, that they're nice and tight, and there's no play side to side with your Swiftcast rod holders. If you're traveling rough roads, bumpy roads, rutted roads, we do recommend that you take off the front two nose tubes in travel just so they're not rattling around. If you're driving on paved roads regularly, they're probably okay, but it is nice to travel with these separated just so there's no back and forth motion. But when you go to attach these, super simple. They just snap right on the nose cone, and you'll use the orange pipe clip to secure it. And a trick, if you come underneath and secure the pipe clip from the bottom, it will often rest right on the rubber or have very little play, so they'll stay nice and snug. Once the forward tubes are attached, you do want to make sure that they have a place to secure to the front of the boat. So using this molly strap or a D-ring strap or whatever attachment you have on the front of your boat, we'll just snug that down nice and tight so the Swiftcast is secure at the nose of the boat. It's secure attached to the frame. All hardware is nice and tight, and you're ready to insert your rods and go have some fun on the river for the spring. Every frame and rubber package are unique, and because the Swiftcast is so modular, there's fairly infinite ways to configure it. You'll see on this particular frame and rubber, we have a single Swiftcast facing backwards that's attached just via the universal mounts. And on top, because we don't have any accessories here, we're able to attach two Swiftcasts for two rods via the universal mount to the frame, and then the Swiftcast pairing plate, which joins these two sections together. There's fairly infinite ways to do this. There's lots of things you can do to adapt to your specific boat, to your specific personal preferences. If you have questions or need some ideas of how best to mount to your frame, always reach out. We've mounted lots of these to lots of different boats, and we'd be more than happy to share our insight with you to make sure you're best set up for a great day on the water. We're really excited for spring and summer fishing, and I hope walking you through attaching your river quiver to the roof rack, checking your mounts on your river quiver, checking the reel box, keys, reel box pads, rod chairs in your river quiver, and making sure your Swiftcast rod holders are set up for success. If you have questions, if there's anything we can help with, we're always happy to. Just reach out to us, info@riversmith.com, or give us a call at our Boulder HQ. We hope to always be providing you as much information as possible so you're successful with all River Quiver products. So if you want more info on the Swiftcast, on the River Quiver, or any future products that are on their way, be sure and join our email newsletter or subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be sharing lots more with you in the future. Thanks so much for supporting Riversmith. We hope to see you on the water soon.